It's time to get on the night bus and head into April Community Day. I'm Professorvoqas, and this is Harry Potter Wizard Unite.
Hello, Professor. I didn't see you there.
Before we begin, I do want to thank Silverclaw24 once again for putting out those images that I'm about to use for this video on your guide to Community Day. This Saturday, April 17th, is April's Community Day, and it mainly revolves around fortresses. I say mainly, it only revolves around fortresses. Everything will be fortresses. So you can actually do this probably from home, just sitting in a chair, getting on the night bus over and over and over, if, of course, you don't run out of energy sitting there. The first and main feature I want to go over are these guaranteed fragments from fortresses, from very specific chambers. And what I mean is if you go and do these chambers, regardless of what runestone you use or any other rewards you get, you're going to get these fragments like in addition. So it's almost like a bonus fragment. Starting with Forest Chamber 3, which will get you the Owl Lectern. So no matter what runestone you use and you get other rewards, some challenge rewards, maybe something from the runestone, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, you'll just get a fragment of the Owl Lectern in addition to that. And then Forest Chamber 5 is going to get you the Portrait of the Boar. Same situation, you just get that as a bonus. Both of those are in Hogwarts, not Legends of Hogwarts, but Hogwarts themselves. Next up is Dark Chamber 2. That will get you a guaranteed fragment of the Cursed Opal Necklace, which is over in Mysterious Artifacts, on the same page as Sirius's Flying Motorcycle and those things. And then lastly is Dark Chamber 5 for Tom Riddle Sr.'s Gravestone. That is in Dark Arts. It's down at the bottom. I think it's Fallen Ministry Atrium, I think is the actual individual page for that. But that's a guaranteed fragment when you go to Dark 5. In addition to whatever else you're going to get, this is like a bonus thing, these 4 things. And the tasks actually tie into these as well, but this is what you got. Now to go along with that, if you do a Forest Chamber 4 or higher, whatever runestone you use, you're guaranteed to get a fragment from that family. Which fragment you get is still up for, randomness. You could get whatever. But in the same way that Dark 5 always used to get you a guaranteed fragment just during normal times, now it's just anything Forest 4 or higher. So if you remember what I just talked about, Forest Chamber 3 was giving you that Owl Lectern. So if you do the Owl Lectern, you still might only get that because there's still a chance you might not get a family fragment. But all the other ones I talked about are Forest 4 or higher, which means if you do a Forest 4 or higher and use these and you go to either Forest 5, Dark 2, or Dark 5, you're going to get kind of 2 different fragments. The bonus fragment that we just talked about, plus whatever you would get from one of the runestones, depending on which family you use. In addition, fortresses are going to award you extra wizarding experience, challenge experience, and spell energy, so definitely want to go and do fortresses during this whole event. And there is one more guaranteed fragment that you can always rely on for this particular community day. It comes from port keys. It's the house hourglasses. There'll be 1 kilometer port keys. When you walk them, you get a guaranteed house hourglass fragment. That is from Hogwarts as well, not Legends of Hogwarts, but Hogwarts. And the last little feature of this event is around healing potions. So if you look, healing potions, the master notes are going to reduce the brew time by 50%. The ingredients aren't supposed to appear more as far as I know. So if you don't already have them, you'd have to pick them up, although I generally seem to be able to find most of them all the time if I want them. I just don't generally pick them up. I have so many healing potions right now. But if we are wanting to brew potions, you want to use healing potions, this is it. Again, in fortresses, I don't generally use healing potions unless maybe we go in without a magizoologist, or it's a magizoologist that maybe is still newer and isn't sure how to do things. But even when they do, a lot of times I'm not healing myself. It's better to just let yourself faint and have them revive you because it costs them less focus to do that. So the healing potions are 50% less if you want to brew some extras. I do use them occasionally for adversaries for sure, but it wouldn't be for this event. Moving on to the tasks themselves, all of them except for one debatably revolve around fortresses, and that's the very first one that says use 12 potions to get 25 spell energy. So decent amount of spell energy certainly, but 12 potions is a lot of potions. Keep in mind it doesn't say we have to use these potions in fortresses, so I'm hoping I might see some adversaries, or it might even be some emergency level foundables, and then I can maybe throw an extimulo at that. If not, it'll probably be maybe throwing some of these healing potions in fortresses. just to keep things moving, just so I don't have to be revived as much by a Magizoologist. Essentially, it would help me skip one revive, just heal back up and, re-engage a foe. Usually toward the beginning of a fortress is when that happens, before we're all shielded up and proficiency'd and things have already been hexed to all over the place so that we're not taking so much damage. In any event, I still think 12 is a large amount of potions to be required to use, especially 12 potions, and this isn't over a 3-day event or a 4-day event or a brilliant event. This is over the course of one day. I say 24 hours, but you're not obviously playing 24 hours. So it's a lot of potions to use in a short amount of time. Earn 6,500 Wizarding experience from Wizarding challenges. Notice it says from Wizarding challenges, meaning from adversaries isn't going to count, or from any other of the sources you can get Wizarding experience, it won't count. That gets you 1 Invigoration draft. It is Wizarding experience though, which is nice because if you use a Barufios, it will go faster. Barufios is going to double your experience gained from any Wizarding challenges, chambers, so that will get you to that 6,500 quicker. But with everything else you have to do in this list, I'd almost say you don't have to worry about the Barufios. You're going to hit 6,500 just trying to finish the rest of the tasks. But if you wanted it to go a little quicker, or if it didn't meet that requirement, you could always throw the Barufios on and it will go faster. Return 3 Owl Lecterns from Forest Chamber 3. That gets you 6 Bitterroot. Now this is the guaranteed one. So if you go to Forest Chamber 3, you don't have to worry about running it a bunch of times. If you run Forest Chamber 3 times, you're going to get 3 Owl Lecterns. And then you may get other stuff, but that won't really matter for this task. It just matters for you getting more stuff. But it is going to get you 6 Bitterroot. Bitterroot is, of course, used in any of the Extimulos, just in differing amounts. Return 2 Wild Boar Portraits from Forest Chamber 5. That's the other guaranteed one, so just run Forest Chamber 5 2 times. You'll get both of them, and you'll get a strong Extimulo for that. Return 2 Cursed Opal Necklaces from Dark Chamber 2. It's going to get you a Potent Extimulo. Again, that's the guaranteed one I talked about. You're going to get other stuff too, but you're guaranteed to get this. You'll only have to run it 2 times to actually complete this task. And lastly is to return 1 Tom Riddle Sr.'s Gravestone from Dark Chamber 5. It is the guaranteed fragment. That's going to get you a silver key. And if you finish all the tasks, you're going to get 3 spell books, 3 Defense Against the Dark Arts books, 40 gold, some spell energy, and some Wizarding experience. So an interesting community day to be sure, mainly because it's just the night bus almost completely, which is odd. I mean, you almost could just do it from sitting home, except for those 1 kilometer porkies if you needed the house hourglasses. Although obviously that's just an optional thing. There's no tasks revolving around that. So it really would just be if you can do it, great, and if you can't, you can't. I definitely feel like, as for a community day, which is more generally around trying to, gather people, and as I've said in the past, I always feel like community day is the big day for newer players and just more casual players to be able to gather together. Even though we can't gather right now, I would almost still like to see the community day spirit still kept alive with what the tasks are about and that type of thing. And this one, because you have to do Dark 5 and Dark 2 and Forest 5, if you're a newer player, even if you've unlocked that, it really is just not a good fit for you to be running those chambers, and it's not a good fit for the other people running it with you, that you're not able to maybe hit as hard, you're not able to survive as long, you may not even know what exactly you should be working on or who you should be engaging with, which hexes to put down. So again, this is a community day that I definitely feel is more geared toward people that have played a bunch and have maybe maxed out at least one profession. If you are able to run fortresses pretty comfortably, my recommendation is going to be to really run those upper chambers. The Forest Chamber 3, maybe if you need the Owl Lectern, you might run that a bunch of times, but if you don't need that specifically, maybe skip that, because that's always gonna only guarantee you the 1 fragment. If you do Forest 4 or higher, you have that guaranteed family fragment plus the bonus fragment, meaning do Forest 5 actually, or Dark Chamber 2 or Dark Chamber 5, just so you're getting that extra fragment. You're going to expend the same amount of energy and that kind of thing as you would in that chamber, but now you're getting 2 fragments, really. Essentially, the one from the runestone you use, and then that bonus one, depending on which chamber you're in. Interestingly enough, I'm actually gold on the Owl Lectern, I'm gold on the boar painting, I'm gold on the Cursed Opal Necklace, of course the lower ones, and it's Tom Riddle Sr.'s Gravestone. That's the one I actually need, which is Dark 5. So, and just Dark 5 just eats up more time and energy than anything else, as well as just trying to find a group in there. Although it'll probably be easier than Dark 2. Except for maybe during this event, you're going to see all these key chambers kind of filled up. One thing I am curious about that I haven't seen in any of the details or anything is if I used a Dark Arts runestone in a Dark Chamber 5, can I get 2 fragments of Tom Riddle Sr.'s gravestone? If I get the guaranteed fragment and then my Dark Arts runestone decides that's which family fragment it's going to give me, would I get 2 of them? Is that impossible? Do they have these actually turned off during this event so that it's only the other ones? So for Dark Arts, it would be any of the other Fortress foundables fragments, but not Tom Riddle Sr.'s gravestone. If you know, if this has happened in the past, let me know in the comments. If not, I'm definitely going to test it out for sure, just to see if I can get it to like double activate the same one. If, you know, does it show 2 pictures? Does it show 1 and give me 2 fragments? Or is it just not even a possibility? Anyway, I would stock up on some energy for this weekend because Fortress is definitely a whittle it down if you run through enough of them in a row. And if you're planning on completing the task, make sure you get some potions that you're ready to, I say throw away. They're not really throw away potentially, but it always feels like it's not necessary. I'm just using it because I need to. But try to get some maybe cheaper potions, either Extimulos or maybe some of those healing potions. It'll make the Fortresses go a little quicker, which is nice, but I do hate to waste those potions in Fortresses. And of course, we'll see if we get to adversaries, if there's any adversaries out and you use them against that, will it count toward that task? Which would be great because then at least it can hit some of them. Maybe even drop an edible dark mark and fight 3 adversaries just to use about 6 potions, a wit sharpening and something else. And maybe throw healing there too, just to, for me at least, to make it seem more worth the while. As always, thank you guys for watching this video and I will see you guys tomorrow. Nox.